Hello there. Well, here we go. I'm about to attempt to run around this lake. Last time I did this was at the beginning of my neuropathy, a long time ago. It's where it was hammered home that I had a serious problem going on with the nerves in my feet. Now I'm in these, just got them yesterday, these monstrous, can you see those? My first pair of New Balances. These are in the max stack, max cushioning category. I've been looking for shoes like this for a long time. I'm gonna see if my neuropathy still is, how bad it gets even in shoes like this. I know I'm still gonna I can feel it right now, even though these are like running on trampolines. But this is my first like real run in them. I've only run like 20 yards in them so far last night, just to see what they did, and that was fully clothed, not in running shorts or anything. I was not, no stretched or anything. It was not a run. It was just go down to the street, run to the next house's driveway, run back, and just see what they bounce like. But anyway, so I've run several marathons since that day, that fateful day when I was here and was running in my Zero shoes and found out I couldn't run anymore. So this is going to be monumental when I get all the way around this thing, which I'm pretty sure I'll do. This is just going to be a zone 2 workout, so I may have a few walk breaks. I'm just doing this instead of running on the trails, which really tears my feet up. The mountain bike trails, they're on the other side of the lake. This is going to be the bike pedestrian trail, just a little over 13 miles, one big giant loop, and let's see how it goes. All right, I'm a little over a mile and a half in. Just did the long, the first, at least this is parking at the marina. So kind of like the main big parking lot of the lake. From there, I just got done with the first, what you call an actual hill. That was a long, gentle one. Heart rate was in the 130s. I'm down to 104, shoes came untied. Feet are doing okay. I'm doing just a quick little walk break just to check in. But shoes are doing fine. One was coming loose, shoestrings, and I had to tie. And one was completely loose, flopping, so I had to tie it. So I tied both, catch my breath for a second. This is the first time, this is just a note about my neuropathy. This is the first time I actually have an appreciable, noticeable difference between my 2 feet. My right foot, the neuropathy tingling sensation is very prevalent in my big toe and behind on the left side of my foot there. That's where it's most intense. And my left foot is rather mild. So that's kind of strange. So in a way, I'm a little hopeful, because if there's a difference, and that means this thing can be, because a lot of times it's both feet and they're equally bad. So something is going more correct with my left foot than my right at the moment. Just a note, just a little note. Okay, so I'm going to continue around. Still got a long way to go. Okay, I'm just now, there's a lake, there's the start of the dam. And here's the bike pedestrian trail. It's starting to go down. This is the first really long, at least when you're going counterclockwise around the lake here. This is the first really big, long downhill, long uphill. This is gonna go down to the bottom of the dam on the back side, opposite the water side. So you can see how, looks like a girl on a bike. So you can see the dam starts getting higher and the bike pedestrian trail gets lower and lower. So at the bottom here, it curves and then it goes down again. So that's not the bottom. But I'm gonna chime in when I get to the other side. And just the start of this, as I started coming down, when it started sinking, is right at 3 miles from where I parked my car. So that's pretty convenient, because I can see how far it is to the as you get to the top of this long down and uphill. All right, I'll chime in when I get there. All right, I'm 4.53 miles in. Just got to the top of the hill. I'm back at the street level. Lake's in the background. This is the point where we're almost kind of leaving the lake a little bit, in that we're on the other side of the road and there's be a lot of trees between the trail and the lake, so you don't get to see the lake for a little while on the trip around on this part. But it looked like it was about a mile to get to the bottom, and then various kind of drops and turns, and the uphill to get back up to the road level was all made back up in about half a mile. So you took a mile to get to the bottom and half a mile to get from the bottom out. That's about what as I was glancing at my Garmin, kind of got out of the deal. So it's kind of interesting. I've never really paid attention to that before. I've ridden my bicycle around the lake, this trail, a few times back when they first finished it a few years ago. But this should be I think this is my first time going around it on foot. But, all right, 4.6 miles in. I'll chime in a little while. It's hard to keep myself in zone 2. This is not a successful zone 2 workout. I keep going into zone 3, but that's okay. That's par for the course. That's how I roll. Okay, so this is mile 5 from my car, but it's mile 7 according to the trail sign here. I'll have to see exactly where the official start is. It's not at the marina, but this is where this part of the lake is where we're crossing Stanley Draper Drive back onto the lake side of Stanley Draper Drive. So we're going to be paralleling the road a little bit, but closer to the water. But this is where it gets really hilly. These hills back here on the southeast side of the lake and on the east, and actually on the north side of the lake, the rest of this is going to be some quite ups and downs. So this is where we're heading now, and I'll kind of show you around this corner. My average per mile is not going to be very good on this run, but you can see, I don't know, cameras never do hills justice, but that is a long, long, long downhill. And way off in the background, right about there, I think, is where it's going up, and that's really steep going up. So this is, I won't really attempt to video it, but that's a long down and up, like going down to a valley and back out. But that's what this side of the lake's going to be. So I'll chime in probably when I'm really tired and need a break. Hey, I have to take it back. We do get a couple of glimpses of the lake over here. So I just passed another one. So here's a slight uphill, followed by a pretty steep downhill and a turn. And then right there at the end of the turn down there, you come back, and then it's a steep uphill again. Just another one of the rolling hills back here on the east side of the lake. But it's good. I'm having a good time. Okay, I'm at mile 7 of my journey around the lake. I'm an hour and 17 minutes in. This is one of the few art pieces around the lake. It's a car buried into the landscape here. It says "Booyah" across the top. I think it's kind of cool. Anyway, and another glimpse of the lake that I had forgotten about, that we do get to take there is a few peaks at the lake as we wind around the trail here. I just got through going up and down another pretty steep hill. This is going to be a pitiful minute per mile pace for 13 and some change miles. But it is a zone 2 run that I'm only zone 2 when I'm walking. It's really a shame. You know, this run slow to go fast thing, it's just so freaking difficult. Zone 2, it's like I'm not even hardly running. On the trail, I have to take walk breaks on the mountain bike trails, dirt trails. And then this one, same thing. I'll be going along, I'll see my heart rate in zone 3, and it's like I'm going as slow as I can. I'm just shuffling along. And then my heart rate will creep back down mysteriously. Maybe it's I'm going uphill slightly and it doesn't look like it, so I think I'm on a flat, but I'm not. I'm really climbing, so my heart rate's up a little bit. Maybe there's some of that at work here, but anyway. Okay, I need to start running again. We'll check in later. Well, I made it. 13.8 miles and like 10:30 something per mile pace, which is really slow for me. That was there was several walk breaks. My little MP3 player went through 3 albums, so I had to stop and walk and pick the next album, which is fine because that gave me a chance to let my heart rate settle back down a little bit. This was, after all, trying to keep my heart rate in zone 2. Haha, that's just not possible. And the hills, how does one climb hills on foot and remain low heart rate without just walking really slow? So I ended up just saying, to hell with it, and just, ran up the hills. I mean, I was out here, I was on the hills. I like working the hills. I like running hard up the hills, but I didn't really run hard. I just kind of, I ran the hills as if I didn't want to slow down very much. So I just kept running up the hills. I didn't walk up the hills. That was it. So to me, some of these hills were hard enough or steep enough and long enough that just maintaining running without slowing down a whole hell of a lot was kind of hard for me. So that was how I treated this. But once I got to the top of the hills, I did take a couple of walk breaks to get my heart rate settled down if I felt it was kind of getting way up there, like just feeling without looking at the Garmin to see what it was. I could tell. And it got up in the 150s a few times. And I really was trying to keep it out of there as much as possible. But, it's getting chilly now. I think the temperature is like I think it got to 50, low 50s. I just wore this shirt, but now my shirt's sweaty because I was wearing my Camelback, or it's not a Camelback brand, it's Osprey, however you say that, my running vest with the bladder in it. I just had a little bit of water with me. I didn't fill the bladder up very high at all, just enough to, it was equivalent to probably 3 water stops worth of, if you were in a race, probably a little more than that. But anyway, it was a good run. I'll summarize it later in a proper video.